Good afternoon, Southeast Asia, and welcome to the Garena AOV Valor Cup Wildcard event. This is going to be quite the juicy day that we have today. A lot of great matches coming at you, but of course, before we get a little bit more in depth and discuss the teams that'll be participating in our wildcard event for today, we are going to be your casters. I'm Mark the Get Your Service Fam, and of course, with me is Rockhart.
That's right. And it's going to be a very exciting game. It is going to be wildcards.
Yep.
Wildcards day today. 3 teams who have failed to secure first will have a shot at redemption to join the 3 teams from Philippines, Singapore, and Malaysia in next week's finals.
Very exciting stuff.
And of course, the winner of that tournament will proceed to the most coveted of slots for championships.
Yep.
World Cup.
Yeah, and I think that's probably not a bad way actually to start off your career in Arena Valor
Absolutely.
Esports. I mean, being able to reach that apex right there. I mean, we had AIC before, transitioned it now to AWC. We have a lot more regions participating. So, why not make history by potentially, just maybe, becoming the very first? And who knows, maybe our Southeast Asian representative will do us proud come that. But of course, we still have to go through this particular event right here. So as Rockhart mentioned, we have 3 countries that will be participating in this: Philippines, Malaysia, and Singapore. So unfortunately, they weren't able to clinch their national title, but as you said, redemption is kind of the name of the game right here. So who knows, maybe this could be their chance right here to make up for lost grounds last week.
You know what I like about a lot of the games that we have experienced, that we have seen for all these teams? A lot of them aren't really like one of those tournaments where this one's a clear winner.
Right.
This he's gonna beat out everyone and there's gonna be no contest. Absolutely not. On the finals of a lot of those teams, a lot of teams almost got reverse swept.
Exactly.
And Resurgence is one of those teams that kind of didn't do the 2 and 3 against their opponents, but I like how they're played, and I like the way that they keep drafting. So of course, WIL New Era, we have seen WIL New Era face Clutch Guild on the Philippines side, and they really did almost do it. They went like a 2-3 as well, and they did it using very unconventional ways, I guess.
Yep.
I like that, and I know you were there firsthand. You saw that.
Man. That was intense.
And very intense matches from these teams. They were not stomped at all whatsoever, and that's what we like to see. We like to see like the really high tier talents rising up to the occasion and trying to go for that top slot. And again, this is going to be all or nothing for these 3 teams from each of our country regions, and it's going to be very exciting to see this.
Yeah, and I mean, you've talked about Singapore and Philippines, really crazy finals that transpired for both sides. Looking at Malaysia, what's interesting about their finals is that it was sister team versus sister team that faced each other. So we actually had M8 Hexa Alpha versus M8 Hexa Penang Foods, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
So it was quite the almost friendly-ish, but of course, you still kind of have that feeling in your gut wherein I still want to do better than, even though we chill with each other, but I'm going to take that slump, man. Not today. You're not taking that from me today. But unfortunately, Alpha did suffer. Looking at our schedule so far, of course, we're going to be having Resurgence of Singapore versus WIL New Era of the Philippines take the stage for our first match for today, followed by WIL New Era versus M8 Hexa Alpha of Malaysia. Come our second game, and of course, third game to wrap things up is our Malaysian and Singaporean squad. And of course, take note, guys, as this is a single round robin, the top 2 teams that will emerge victorious will proceed to the finals in a best of 5, which will ultimately determine who will be that wild card that gets in the last slot.
That's right. So we're gonna wait for that. That's gonna come very late into the game. So it's again, these teams stylistically they're very different. Like a lot of the compositions that come out of WIL New Era, they try to go for double marksman as much as their clutch.
Yeah.
Sorry for the pun. their clutch plays. I'm sorry if that hit a sore spot somewhere.
Yep. I kind of felt there, like, man.
Their clutch plays. Anyway, that's what they try to do as much as possible. Otherwise, they kind of go on the regulars with a great tank support lineup as well. Bents is known as a great Senyo player, so I kind of like how they utilize that. No Crash today, though, to anyone who is wondering. and who might have been looking for Crash. No Crash today, as he did just come out and We don't want any unfair advantages going over to
True.
the other team. So again, it's still gonna be fun. We still have L'Oreal, a highly contested pick. So far, it wasn't shown on the previous Valor Cup finals, and it's gonna be really fun to see what these teams are gonna come up with using L'Oreal.
Yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned L'Oreal because unfortunately for the Philippines, I'm not sure for Malaysia as well, since it was within the duration that you can't use L'Oreal.
Right.
Wasn't fielded for their particular national finals. But for Resurgence, if I'm not mistaken, yes, I believe it was Resurgence. They were the region that was able to reach that point wherein L'Oreal was enabled. Although, interesting enough though, come game 2, they were able to get the L'Oreal, but they still fell in the hands of Tamago during that game 2. I think it was because of how Tamago was very efficient at making sure that they locked down that L'Oreal earlier on, just so that, you know how L'Oreal, as the longer the fights go, just dishes out tons of damage.
Like, the mindset of a lot of the teams that we've met so far in different tournaments is that if you pick L'Oreal, they kind of pick L'Oreal equals win.
Yep.
So a lot of people tend to ban her out, but apparently that's not the case. Tamago especially. Apparently teams can counter L'Oreal, so guys, take note of that. And also, it's really gonna be exciting to see how teams play around it. That's something that a lot of viewers are probably looking forward to look at as well.
Yeah, and I mean, from where we stand, because just to give you guys some insight, me and Rockhart, we've been working on casting tournaments outside of the Valor Cup, and we've seen a lot of L'Oreal in our local scene, used to much efficiency. I don't think we've seen a single game where she's lost yet, particularly here in the Philippines.
In the Philippines, a lot of teams, apparently they kind of try it out as well. In their compositions, even on the big stage, so that's pretty ballsy, isn't it? So that's pretty amazing how they're able to pull that off right off the bat, and maybe just shows the power of L'Oreal altogether as a power pick. But again, not just L'Oreal. It's not gonna be a L'Oreal show today for sure. So we're gonna be seeing a lot of Myriad plays, a lot of those Violet plays as well. You never have to forget about Violet. So far, she still has one of the best ranges in the game, even though Tel Honest was already released. So still gonna have to look for that Violet picks and look for the Joker as well.
Yeah, interesting that you bring that up. Let's go ahead and talk about what potential bans or prime picks that we'll be seeing. But of course, I guess we don't have to dig into that quite further, as we'll see it right then and there in the pick and ban phase.
Oh, speaking of Violet, our Resurgence definitely recognizing the power of this Violet, instantly bans it out. And of course, so far I see WIL New Era banning themselves out with the Sentinel. I'm not sure, but of course we have seen bans on a lot of really big tank picks, not just Sentinel. You can, when that comes to mind, look for Malak. Look for a lot of the bigger tanks, and Lubu as well. So again, first pick for L'Oreal somehow goes over to WIL New Era. Resurgence lets that slip through, and they did not pick it on first rotation. We're gonna have to see what implications this has on these fights.
Indeed, man. Oh man, L'Oreal just being thrown off right off the bat, coming in from WIL New Era. But in response, though, I'm liking what Resurgence is picking.
Oh, physical damage heavy, man. Amazing picks.
With the Joker especially, you know, just how painful he can get, especially if it's scaled beautifully into the later parts of the game. Not to mention the Ormar as well. You have that high percentage of being able to proc that passive to get a better hold onto the members of WIL New Era. So far, so good. Meanwhile, looking at WIL New Era, looks like the double support-ish in a way, with that Chognar being locked in as well. Very complementary with the Alice.
And they like the picks of Resurgence as well. They want to go physical damage and go just protect the Joker and CC everyone until Joker is able to will everyone down. I can see that already as their power pick, and they're going for possibly double marksman with Preda in the middle. I like this. Great balance and great macro sense decision making coming over here from Resurgence. I think they're going for the long game. Meanwhile, on the other side of WIL New Era, they're going for high burst with Zephys and L'Oreal. Of course, we have a great front line as well, but they're going to be a lot more death ball oriented in this game, because you want to have the Alice and the L'Oreal drop their ultimates on roughly the same area for it to be effective, with magic armor reduction on the side of Alice to complement L'Oreal with his playstyle.
What I like about the composition coming in from Resurgence, though, is that if you're going to look at it, sure, the L'Oreal was left open, but at this for WIL New Era's taking, But at the same time, if you're going to look at which particular heroes that Resurgence has to lock that down as far as crowd control goes, you have that long-range skill shot coming in from Slims. You also have the Ormar and the Lubu to kind of frontline for you because, without a doubt, I mean, this is a Praetor we're talking about.
Absolutely.
So, going to be staying in the back line for most of these fights. Does not want to get reached by any of the members of WIL New Era under any circumstances. But that's what's interesting, though. Not sure how Resurgence is going to be going down with this, as sure, you have some decent crowd control, but not as heavy as I would have preferred, especially since they have a Chognar for WIL New Era.
It's not as it's not the point and click crowd control that we're looking for that can enable a Joker and the Slims to be effective. We're gonna have to rely a lot on Slims long range spears for that big shot CC and the really long ones. I can see that the Praetor to be one of the soft spots, if you may, for Resurgence.
And there you have it, ladies and gents. Looks like we'll be heading on to the entire battlefield for what is going to be Game 1.
Oh, speaking of soft spots, though, sorry about that. I just, wow, that was a great burst of damage there from the Joker. They're going to go and look at camps as well. They want to make sure buff camps are not stolen at all, and Praetor's just going to want to stay and turtle up in the middle if she wants to be effective later in the game.
I think this is very classic of what we've been seeing Rockhart these past few weeks here in the local scene for the Philippines. We're in Rubik's. Okay, so Dai, very gutsy, easily going in and out the gambit. Will back away after seeing 3 members of WIL New Era in that.
So again, we were saying about the composition. Sorry,
it's very classic here. I mean, we've been seeing Rubik's on this Alice, but so that's going to be 3 members of Resurgence.
They don't want to give you any breathing room
off the bat, but Gambit as well trying to back away. Miggy is going to help out here. It's Ace looking pretty low. That's going to be quite a bit of a heal procced up by Resurgence. Looks like a full-on brawl. They want in on Dai. Malachi is trying to do what he can to keep the members of WIL New Era at bay, but WIL New Era themselves, they have to be a bit careful. Health bars a bit dwindling. No casualties just yet.
Yeah, that looked kind of sloppy for Resurgence. They were trying to pick up fights, but they weren't in the absolutely right position to do it. And WIL New Era just got off a lot of damage. Great props to Praetor there for on Linky for dropping off that sweet wave to reduce the health as much as he could, just to get something back. But so far, that could have gone really bad for Resurgence. They did. I like the way that Resurgence does it, though. They kind of went there. They recognize that you can use the Ormar gut punch as much as possible, proc it up early, and have maybe tried to make a pick and have breathing room for the Praetor. But so far, I think they might have over tried that too much. So far, they did live, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, and at the same time, from what I'm seeing here, with how Resurgence has been playing this, I have a feeling they did their homework against WIL New Era, because from what I'm seeing here, this is very classic of what strategies we've seen with this Alice, kind of lingering in the river earlier on so that Rubik's could easily respond to whether it's the L'Oreal that needs help in the mid lane, maybe transition towards top side if ever Resurgence tries to push for a gank as well. So I think it's Resurgence potentially reading in on how this Alice is going to linger, potentially capitalize on taking down the Alice when isolated, when just alone, without the response coming in from WIL. Although, luckily for WIL New Era, they were able to respond quite well, so which is why we're not seeing casualties just yet. Very much back to the chill side here.
That's right. And as the game progresses, though, I want to see your opinion. Who will take a better lead once we get later in the game? Because I'm sure one of these teams want to do it earlier. One of these teams is built for early game. What do you think? Which team do you think that is?
Well, man, as far as what I'm seeing here, because, okay, looking at Resurgence, because they have the Joker for a better scaling into the later parts. I mean, the Praetor as well, quite the burst of damage. I think it really comes down to how Resurgence sets. Meanwhile, for WIL New Era, I mean, this L'Oreal is pretty much consistent throughout. Dishes out tons of damage in the early parts.
Even early, yeah.
Even more painful in the later parts.
That's what we're going to be looking for. Right now, Miggy goes hard on Aris. Aris is going to have to flicker out, and the rest of Resurgence is going to just have to run for their lives. Meanwhile, the rest of WIL New Era look forward to zoning out Dragon. And early Dragon control is very good, of course, especially if you have a L'Oreal on your team.
Yeah, pretty good there so far. Surprised, though, we're not seeing any early round pickoffs. But then again, I guess that is kind of the nature of the compositions that we're seeing here. Wherein they'd be much more effective once we hit these bigger team fights, like I mentioned. in order for Resurgence to kind of work their magic here, they're going to rely on Muachi and Dai to kind of set things up. Will's, Aris, Zace, and Linky kiting around a bit, hitting from the back line, not getting caught out by the members of Will New Era. But that's the thing, though. From what I see here from Will New Era, they do have potential tools to get pickoffs off these key targets early off the bat, especially, this is Miggy we're talking about here, who's been a very proficient Zephyrus player in the Philippines. So if he could get those pickoffs earlier on, complemented with the damage coming in from Gambit, supplied with the utility coming in from the Alice into Chognar, then that's something that could work to Will New Era's favor.
That's right. Again, we're seeing the spears from Zace kind of not hitting the marks as we would like, as much as we would like. But of course, Will New Era is very proficient. And again, Rubik's on this Alice, since you just mentioned he's great Cephas, he does know how to, when he needs to do the damage and when he just needs to do the support. Being an Alice, being able to stun in the shield at the same time, you will have that window of opportunity to call the shots when you want the team to go in.
Exactly. Meanwhile, you know what really baffles me here, Rockhart, is, I mean, amidst not seeing any casualties, neither have we been seeing any transitions. Okay, I'm going to have to hold off right there.
Speaking of!
That's going to be the fight right there. Will New Era, the numbers are working in their favor. Aris very low. That's going to be first blood going to the 1717, but they're not done just yet. Looks like Dai is going to try to salvage, but unfortunately, he just gets caught off with all 5 members of Will New Era on his tail. Zace, though, is that going to be a dive coming in from Miggy? No, not quite. He's going to hold off, but that's going to end in a 3-0 in favor of the Philippine squad.
Absolutely. The support's working out so well in favor of Will New Era. Rubik's doing a lot of speed-ups, and Gambit catching off a lot of members off guard. And again, this is the power of the L'Oreal. You kind of want to have to call out once he starts missing in middle, because that really does mean they're going to start pulling off a big macro decision play, especially since you know that Dragon was live. Resurgence would have seen that coming.
And you know what's kind of funny there, Rockhart, is I was just about to say that, you know, we're not seeing any pickoffs yet, no transitions into objectives. It just happened right there.
They just went straight for it, and Will New Era recognizes a great point of power. They will be ahead in goal by about 2,000, and they will have a 3-0 advantage as well.
That was quite the quick build-up right there. Imagine just that one fight. But looks like, yeah, it's Rubik's. Again, we do see these attempts coming in from Resurgence. Again, trying to catch off this Alice. But then again, the response coming in from Will New Era just very much fluid. So,
absolutely
tricky there. And that's such a shame because it's a missed out advantage that Resurgence could have capitalized on. But then again, it's still
Dai is looking for a fight though on Alice. Like, they're really looking for Rubik. They're asking like, Rubik, come here, we're gonna teach you a lesson. And Rubik says, nope, not today. We're gonna wait for our power spikes, and we're gonna wait for great damage on that. Of course, 1717 is also really big on the Chognar in that first fight we saw, enabling the disengage. But right now, Will New Era, I think they want to go for it. Miggy goes in alone on 3 members of Resurgence, but is he gonna do enough damage? Zace is very low though, and Will New Era Gambit, he gets caught out. But right now, they catch off the rest of the members of the team, juggling health so well, and Aris is gonna get taken out. Flicker is not enough to save him, and Muachi is gonna be the last one to fall, and Benz is just gonna skirmish the heck out of the Muachi, and this looks starting to look really grim for Resurgence.
Yeah, man, 4 members for 1. Once again, in favor of Will New Era. This is what I'm talking about right here. Resurgence, if you're going to look at their composition, definitely a lot of damage. But because Will New Era has the utility to kind of soak that up a bit, at most, they were able to get Gambit, but he's on a L'Oreal, pretty much squishy. Sure, we could get the hold on the L'Oreal, but it took quite a while for Resurgence to get to that point. And at the end of the day, just turned around, but it looks like 1717.
Whoa! 1717 with the spike on that first skill. Amazing placement. Will he belong for this world? Dai goes in hard on 1717. Goes in and tries to go for the revenge kill. I think he's gonna get it. Will he? Whoa! The tankiness of this Chognar. That is amazing.
I was honestly thinking that elephant was just about to face extinction, but he survived to tell the tale. That, ladies and gents, luckily the tanky stance worked in 1717's favor there. Meanwhile, it looks like Aris is going to get caught off once again. Boom! Gets taken down by Benz. Zace tries to deal a bit from the backline, but unfortunately, numbers are working in Will New Era's favor. They're just going to back away for now.
Yeah, the term we're looking for here. Assassination Nation. Aris did not see that coming, absolutely. He almost got 100 to 0 in really short time. But right now, Will New Era goes for a dragon. Another macro advantage goes over to them. The goal lead is going way up.
This is starting to spiral way out of control. Resurgence, they need to try to find a way to equal out the playing field right now. Sure, they have a good transition with Aris, but at the same time, I mean, since they kind of want to overwhelm Will No Ear with the damage here, it would have been ideal to have had a better start. But with this, it just allows Will No Ear with the utility that they have to soak that up all the more, and it becomes such a disadvantage for them.
Yeah, that's right. We have to wait because the Resurgence wants early kills to have the Joker and the Slims ramp up, and actually they didn't get that. I think that kind of started the trend there. And I think Resurgence just wants to farm up as soon as possible. They don't want to do these rotations, especially since Dragon is actually still up, is not up yet. So there's really not much to fight over the map. And Dai just gets caught out of position. The rest of Will No Ear will not have enough damage to take him out. But again, the rest of the team is just around the corner. They want to pick up fights right now.
Yeah, it looks like Will No Ear, they're going to bring the pain to Resurgence right there. That's going to be Machi caught out right off the bat. Ooh. He's going to take taken down by Gambit. Meanwhile, 1717, he's holding the fort, trying to keep Resurgence at bay, trying to get them so that the rest of Will No Ear can make the response. Miggy just going straight in. He has no fear whatsoever. He's going to get the kill onto Dai. That's 2 members down from Resurgence so far, and it looks like they're going to turn to take more camps.
I love that what New Era is doing. They're taking so much trust into Miggy, and Miggy is the ones doing the engages, but he's usually the ones to get out of the fight as soon as possible. That is just so great. Great rotation coming over for Gambit right now. Will No Ear tries to go for the zone on Miggy, and apparently that does work. They get a tower for his efforts, and again, the goal lead just ramping up for Will No Ear, looking so good for the Philippine team.
Man, this is just going insane. Resurgence, they're starting to get much more restrained to their base. And this is what I'm talking about right here, when I was hoping that Resurgence could look for opportunities to try to at least equal back the playing field. If they can, at least try to hold out until such time that they could rely much more on the heavy damage to take down targets right off the bat from Will No Ear. But that's not really happening right now. What Will No Ear is doing, as soon as they get pickoffs, try to deny camps as well from the side of Resurgence that would otherwise not allow them to have the resources to get back into the game, and that's just beautifully played here by the Philippine squad.
Absolutely, like 1717 on that Chognar zones up so many people and takes so much damage that it allows Miggy and Gambit to go over anywhere on the map that they please. It's like so amazing. And now they have Dragon control. They're not Resurgence isn't even sure where the rest of Will No Ear is at this point. They're just so scared to check, and it's gonna be another free Dragon for Will No Ear. That is just gonna spiral their goal and experience lead out of control. They will be able to take fights anytime that they want, and Chognar on the bottom lane just taking up so much effort from Resurgence that they don't know what is happening on the rest of the map. This is possibly a Dark Slayer for Will No Ear if they want it, but I guess they're just going to try to see if they can pick off the Joker.
Yes, looks like they find a target towards the top side. 1717, kind of dealing with the rest of RSG, but that was just a full-on collapse. Wow. I mean, you have the lead, so why not go for it? And that's just a lone Joker, so pretty squishy.
Absolutely. Like, so much props to 1717, though. He's like fighting the rest of Resurgence by himself at this point, and they just want to wait for the right opportunity. And speaking of right opportunity, Gambit, assassination with the help of 1717, absolutely demolishes, and Zebs is actually next. He's gonna go for it. Gambit tries to go for Zebs, and he does very, very safely. Dances in front of these 2 towers. Easy peasy lemon squeeze.
Woo. All of these carries coming in from Will No Ear are popping off in this game. And this is just pretty much Will No Ear, how do I even put this? Like,
what?
As far as their win conditions go, pretty much checklist everything. And
yeah.
For Resurgence, though, so tricky.
Yeah, the Gambit is popping off on this L'Oreal, as you said. Amazing plays here all together for the rest of the team. And it's just Resurgence trying not to die at this point as the towers fall again in the middle lane. And I think they want to go in. Miggy goes hard on the Linky. Lunky goes down almost immediately. And that's going to be another free tower most likely. But I think, no, Resurgence wants to take the fight, but they no, they're really trying though. They can't seem to find an opening in this lineup of Will No Ear, and again, oh dear. That's just a lot of takes down going over to Will No Ear. I think this is game.
Yeah, I think this is going to be game. Rockhart, Will No Ear just waiting, and looks like, okay, they're just waiting for that one last wave before they go for the picture-perfect finish. Zace still very much heavy till he respawns right here. Resurgence, all these 3 members. Lanky is going to be up in a bit, but will it be enough? The Will No Ear, they're going to go straight in for his squishes. Aris takes so much damage. Looks like he'll back off just in the nick of time with Slither help, but that's going to leave Moachi alone to deal with the rest of Will No Ear. He goes down to Gambit. Lanky is now up and running. Will be able to salvage this fight. Miggy takes quite a bit though, but looks like Will No Ear will back away for the meantime. But man, this game is going to reach quite the epic conclusion.
That's right. Cheeky plays there going over for Miggy, and It's just Will New Era showing so much dominance over the map now, and the gold lead is becoming apparent. Resurgence is trying to go in. They look like they're poised to take a fight, but it's just not it's just not connecting, and they just can't find the right target to choose. Will New Era also juggling aggro so well, they can juggle the health bars of their members for days. They just gave over 1 kill over the course of this game, and that just shows the amount of safety and dominance that Will New Era has right now.
Exactly, and man, 118 on this scoreboard. It is just a massive spiral here for Will New Era, and I don't know, at this point, okay, that's going to be 1717. This tanky on this Chognar will be just fine.
Yeah, forced to use his ultimate just to get out, and he won't be able to have that for the next fight. But I think at this point, the Chognar will have so much cooldown reduction items that it really won't matter as much. I think he will have the next one ready for the top side if he chooses to rotate. Raris is taken out first by Miggy, and the rest of the members of Will New Era just tanks the turret. They don't really care. They're gonna take out Muashi under turret. The rest of the ultimate, there you go. Ultimate by 1717 enables the rest of Will New Era to get back into the fight. And Gambit though gets taken out by Lunky, and Lunky is very low, flickers out, but gets caught by Benz. Benz is so ballsy and almost gets Zace for the trade-off. They're gonna take out top high ground tower for their efforts, and so much gold going over to Will New Era. Looks like this game, Zace is the last remaining defender for Resurgence. Will he be able to take off the ultimate defense? Apparently not. The core goes down very fast, and guys, we have the first winner for Game 1, Will New Era.
Yep, 1-0 on this best of 3. Very much well played right there. I mean, Will New Era, they got a bit gutsy by going for those extra kills, but I mean, they're in the lead. Pretty much afford it.
That looked really fun for Will New Era at the last part. They were like popping off all out. They were fighting under turret for almost that whole fight. They didn't even care. They were taking core hits, and again, coming back there, Will New Era showing absolutely macro performance. They were pulling off dragons. They did not give out dragons at all at this game, and no contest at all for all of those dragons.
Exactly.
Which is absolutely amazing. Just goes to show the amount of control Will New Era has.
Yeah, and the way that they rotated across the map, just absolutely fluid. Looking at things, though, no surprise, 1717 is going to be the MVP for this game. I mean, it was either him getting pickoffs, providing the utility, keeping the members of Resurgence at bay. So, quite the team player right there, I gotta say.
Absolutely. Like Gambit, he was a bit, let's say, not on the rocks. He kind of went a little bit too far in a lot of the fights, but I think that was just how he plays, and he has that endure to provide safety, and I think that kind of kept Resurgence on their toes a lot in that game.
Yeah, and I also have to take into account that with that gutsiness coming in from Gambit, I mean, with the supplements of utility coming in with the Alice as well, I think that just
so
makes
much trust, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that just goes to show how they're pretty much solid as far as synergy goes at a team, really utilizing their composition to the T. And I think that's what you kind of need, especially when you're running with these supports. You kind of need that coordination to make sure that you go in at the right time.
Absolutely.
And I think that was a clear demonstration right there by the Philippine squad. Very well played indeed.
Well played indeed, and we're gonna have to look for more plays, and we haven't seen. I don't think we've seen the final form of a lot of these teams yet. This is gonna be a long fight, and I would expect a lot of comebacks possible as well for Resurgence. But so far, they just have to just clear their minds, make sure they get on the right mindset, clear the stage, and make sure you go for the reverse sweep if possible. That's gonna be what Resurgence is gonna go for. Meanwhile, Will New Era will have to just keep the train rolling, see if they can get morale from that, and, you know, just try to take the game.
Yep, so there you have it. That was game 1, guys. When we come back, we'll find out if Resurgence can kind of turn things around to keep their dreams alive of getting that 1 point up here in the round robin. We'll just have to find out in a little bit. We've been your casters, Arctic at your service, fam. With me is Rockhard. This is the Garena AOV Valor Cup wildcard event. See you guys in just a little bit.